I'm going to introduce our moderator, Nicole Moore, and Nicole will introduce the panel and really just try to jump right into the discussion. I don't know if you guys saw Ralph McDaniels here earlier. He said anything. Ralph, did you have a chance to speak to the folks here?
No.
Can you just take 1 minute and just kind of, welcome the guests?
First of all, good evening, welcome everybody, and thank you for everybody for coming out. Of course, we've been doing video music for 30 years. Box That Rocks is just an inspiration for the artists, the painters, the people who do all types of statistics and all kinds of stuff like that. If you get a chance, definitely take a chance to look at what we have here. We thought it was important that we recognize the women and their contributions to the music, to the promotion, to the direction, to everything that we do, because I know I'm no good without a woman. Here that have helped me out along the way, Maureen, Christy, and Charlene Thomas, and Tony Steele. So there's quite a few people here that have been part of the Video Box team, and they'll tell you what they do. And thank you once again for coming out.
You don't need to use it if you don't.
Everybody can hear me? Cool?
Well, if anyone wants it, it's there. So just turn it on.
I'm going to quickly introduce the panel, starting off with Tony Steele. Raise your hand. She's of Garufuna descent, born and raised here in East New York, Brooklyn. She developed a style and edge like no other. She's a winner of Apollo's Amateur Night in 1995, and also the winner of an Underground Music Award in 2009. Formerly known as Infinite, Steele used to rock the stage with the now defunct group Crusaders. Tony Steele is no stranger to the stage. She's performed here in New York City in a number of popular venues, including B.B. King's, SOBs, and the A&R Power Summit, and also Madison Square Garden, I believe, right? Okay. Tony Steele is currently promoting her first solo project called Just Me, with the leading single Google Me. The video premiered on Video Music Box, and I didn't get a date. When did it premiere? 2 weeks ago. Great, all right, congratulations. Not only is Tony Steele an MC, but she also co-hosts Video Music Box, programs, produces, and hosts her own radio show on YouTube called It's a Go. Next up is Amy Star Andrew. As a budding stylist, Amy Andrew diligently found her way to working for an independent publication entitled Trace Magazine back in 2001. For 5 years, she gained immeasurable knowledge working for the international lifestyle entity which housed Trace US, UK, and Trace France. She started off as an unpaid assistant. She worked her way up to managing editor, and in 2005, at the age of 26, she became the youngest publisher. As an entertainment and lifestyle journalist, she has interviewed several key figures, including Kobe Bryant, Snoop Dogg, and Queen Latifah. In 2008, she was approached by Source Magazine to come in and try to revamp their brand, which she successfully did by launching a number of new enterprises and ventures, including Source.com. And I just heard, just this past Monday, she was recently made editorial director of MTV World. So Charlene Thomas, Master Entertainment Executive and Philanthropist. Charlene Thomas is a 20-year music industry veteran. Charlene received her start directing special events for the now legendary TV show Video Music Box. She was also the lead engineer for their Flavor Radio show on 105.9. And since then, she's contributed to the success of 3 major record conglomerates, those being Loud Records, Rockefeller Records, and Slip and Slide Records. She's spearheaded innovative and uniquely successful marketing campaigns for artists such as Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Wu-Tang Clan, Mobb Deep, Trina, and Jagged Edge. More notably, Thomas signed an A&R to multi-platinum recording artists, 3-6 Mafia and Little Flip. While leading campaigns of Loud Records, Charlene successfully cross-marketed under-the-radar pop culture trends with brands such as Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Miramax, and Levi's. Currently, Charlene consults for several sports, fashion, and music entities. Claudine Christie, is that correct? Claudine Christie. Got it, okay. Claudine Christie is an independent promoter and a producer of music videos or music? Music production. Okay, sorry. I'm just getting this right now, so I'm going to work through it. As a matter of fact, to make it easier, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? I just got handed this.
As she said, my name is Claudine Christie. I started working for Ralph at the age of 17. Don't want to tell you what year. I started as an intern the day after high school. Started working for Crazy Sam. I was his assistant. And had a wonderful experience in the music industry working with Ralph. And then I moved on to do the video promotion. Worked with and promoted groups like Jagged Edge, Snoop, Mariah Carey. Let's go on.
She's modest. She's modest.
I did all her projects well. Yeah. Short and sweet. Let's get started.
Did I get everybody? Oh, I'm sorry. Introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Michelle Marshall. I started Lyrics.com, which is a site dedicated to women in the entertainment industry. You have music producers, DJs, MCs. Wow. I did Chief my DJ, back about 4 years ago. And Uncle Ralph is a part of it. I did Lady Beatmakers, which is a documentary for music producers. Presently, I have a book out that's called Amanda's Ring, and it's a hip-hop novel for young people. And I have a new book that's coming out called The Trending Journal. It's so many different things that I do offer. But mostly entertainment that deals with young people.
Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for being here. Again, my name is Lori Cumbo. I'm the founder and the executive director of the museum. And I just want to thank all of you for coming out today. It's really been an exciting adventure and ride in terms of the whole exhibition. And I definitely thank Ralph for all of your hard work and for promoting the exhibition. And really, we just wanted to celebrate 30 years of Ralph McDaniels and Video Music Box. And the type of programming that we're doing today gives us greater insight to Video Music Box and the contributions that people have made with him or after him. So we encourage you to have a great dialogue and conversation. And there's so many other programs that are coming up that we hope that you'll continue to support them as well. I just also want to note that we have two guests representing our elected officials. We have Gigi Elliott, who is representing Councilwoman Letitia James. And we also have Lisa Lashley, who is representing State Senator John Sampson. I feel like we need to do a panel on ladies in politics as well. So we have a lot of great things going on here at the museum. I thank you all for coming out. Please ask lots of questions during the Q&A session and come back to the museum again and again. And I thank all of you ladies for being here and sharing with us your talent, your time, and your contribution to hip-hop and to American culture in general. So thank you very much for being here.
As Dexter noted earlier, I'm Nicole Moore. I'm the editor of a blog called thehotness.com, and I'm also the social media manager for the Museum for African Art. So let's jump right into it. Women in hip hop, females in hip hop, women that rap. Historically, and even up until now, women in hip hop have always been thought of as the chicks that got put on. Their popularity and inclusion in hip hop has always been, even from the beginning till now, connected to the opposite sex. When you look at Miss Melody, she got put on, quote unquote, by KRS One. There's Lauryn Hill, Wyclef, Salt-N-Pepa connected to Herbie Love, Lil Kim connected to Biggie, and Nicki Minaj to Lil Wayne. So it's on and on, which in a way I feel like it's a way to deny our power, our skills, and our own involvement within hip hop. I was raised in the Bronx, so like most of you, have been raised in
in the urban city, we know women who have participated in hip hop. We know women who write their own rhymes, and we're also participating in the forum. So I want to start off by going back to the history of hip hop, especially looking at Video Music Box, which I feel played an integral role in putting women on the spot. What is the first remembrance you have of hip hop, specifically, if you can, of women in hip hop, video-wise? But I'll even make it more specific. What's the first video you remember? And how did it impact you as a young woman? I'm gonna start off right here.
Oh, wow. The video that stands out in my mind, to be honest, is Salt and Pepper Push It. And, you know, I saw it on Video Music Box. I was like, yeah, that's, you know, I like the way they dress, and the way they look, and their hair, and I was like singing the song. I think I was like 10 at the time. And I remember my mom came out in the living room, she was like, push what? I was like, Mom, it's a song. But yeah, it's just that, you know, I felt like Salt and Pepper, they were womanly, they were sexy, they were intelligent, you know, so yeah, it's just like, I really looked up to them, you know, they talked about issues that were important at the time. So it wasn't just all about sex, but it was about being a woman, about being responsible for your life and yourself, so yeah, Salt and Pepper.
The first video I remember on Video Music Box was Roxanne Shante, Revenge song. And watching that video, I was like, I was a young girl, and I was watching that video like, see, girls can rap, girls can do it. You know, she was just, the power she had holding that microphone and letting them know who she was, and you know, she wasn't going to stand for them talking about her. Like, that was powerful to me. That was the first video that I remember seeing. Salt and Pepper stuff definitely was, for me, like, cool. Because being a dancer, starting off as a dancer, being a dancer, and seeing them in their unitards, I was like, oh, we can wear those. Okay, we can wear those out the street. It was you know, I thought they brought fashion to, you know, the whole hip hop thing, and the style, the earrings, the hair, everything. You know, that was definitely an inspiration as well.
I wouldn't say I had one. I think it was just the entire time when it started happening. Because I remember Roxanne, I remember MC Light, I remember Salt and Pepper. So it was just as a woman finally seeing us there, and we had a broad array of women that had skills and talent, and then the Salt and Pepper video was just colorful. You didn't see the cipher anymore.
Right.
So it was just the time per se. I don't have a particular one. I was just happy about everything.
Well, I would agree with Charlene what she just said, but my first remembrance of seeing a female in the video had to be, I say, the Boogie Boys. I don't know if you remember Inspector Gadget. And I think it would have to be Inspector Gadget, and I think the young lady's name is K Love, and her part was not that long. And when she popped out, I lost my mind. So, you know, I loved every minute of it. I would say the next person would have to be MC Light, because MC Light was strong. She was just like, I'm not having it, you know, you're trying to whisper in my ear, but I'm not having it, you know. So I would have to go with definitely Light was a major influence in me just loving hip hop all around.
Yeah, I can't say Light enough. Like, I think she's the only, well, between her and Latifah, I think I've memorized like every album each of them had, from like front to back. I could probably rap it backwards. Aside from that, I think the first female rapper in a video on Video Music Box for me that I saw, aside from like Salt and Pepper Push It, because we used to choreograph dances to that. Like, I know I remember vividly, like, moving everything on the bed, taking the mattress off, my sister and I, like, really wild into it.
I think Push It on Velvet Dexter. Push It is one of those songs that I think real seminal in terms of, like, giving us a real voice into who we were sexually, even though we were young, and you said we didn't know what we were doing. As we got older, and I looked back at that video, I was like, oh, they were being sophisticated, but they were also showing that, yeah, they could be sexual women as well, and be smart, and be sexy, and seeing that. It's different from just hearing, because we heard the song, we had our tapes, you know, popping the cassette. So what did seeing the actual images do for you? Like, how did it resonate for you? Was it something that inspired you? Was it empowering, or was it just something new to you, or something that you saw?
I think it was something fresh.
Okay.
You know, it was like, wow, we're doing that on the street. We know people, at least growing up in New York and seeing people like that every day, but then actually seeing it on screen made, at least, it made me feel relevant for a second. It was like, wait, I can be right there?
Right.
And she can dress like me? You know, she can slash her, I still slash my eyebrows. Really? Like, it was dope in that way, but I think the artist who really resonated with me the most was probably Moni Love, though. Because of the fact that, I know no one likes to talk about Moni, but like for me, it was about Moni because it was the whole international connection, you know? I'm first generation American, so for her to be here, rhyming made me feel like, oh, I can get into this too. Even though I'm not quote unquote African American, like that box that people want to put hip hop in.
Right. So I'm going to flip it a little bit. I was going to go in historical order, but I'm going to actually just flip it to present time. How did we go from seeing MC Light, Salt, Pepper, Push It, Ladies First, Queen Latifah, to Nicki Minaj, Stupid Ho? How do you think, what's happened within the culture? Do you think, and I'll be specific, do you think maybe a Salt, Pepper, Push It video, do you think our sexuality was more our downfall than our benefit?
My opinion just on it, and not even naming the name or giving a specific video, is just the change of times. Our music is more global now, and a Nicki Minaj is just encompassing what we have right now. It's fashion forward, she's very marketable, it's just what it is right now. Salt and Pepper was that time, and it was a step up from just traditional rap to more mainstream, because that video broke them. They went further. That was probably one of a more mainstream video at that particular time. And Nicki Minaj is the equivalent of that right now.
But then you have, but on the flip side, if you look at men in the game in hip hop, their rhymes in the game for them is just as diverse as ever. It seems like for women in hip hop, it's become this monolithic form. If you don't look like or act like a Nicki Minaj, then you don't get put in the game. You don't have the variety that we had, let's say, just 10 years ago when you had a Lauryn Hill.
I don't feel we have that even on the male side. I mean, our music is more, you know, if we want to get regional, it's more southern right now. And New York or even West Coast artists are transforming their music to sound more southern. So I think just overall, that music is just in a particular era. Like it's
on
just
the mainstream level.
Yeah.
On the mainstream level.
Yeah.
Because those artists are there. You know, there are female artists who don't look like Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Still
If we're talking about
making
money.
money.
Yeah.
Right. The same thing
Exactly.
with guys.
And the Lauryn Hills and the Moni Loves and you know, it's just getting broader. We have people are performing in Japan now, you know, so it's just on a different spectrum. So I wouldn't say that we've lost anything. We're just kind of moving on, and it's next chapter. And once this is finished, you know, maybe there's going to be the artist that brings back New York or LA, and then it's going to move again. And then, you know, it's all about everything coming together. We're like, it's globalization at its finest to me.
Really? Okay. So is everybody in agreement, or I mean, I personally feel like women in hip hop is in a crisis right now.
Yeah, it's like I really miss the diversity where we used to have a Lauryn Hill, or we used to have you know, like MCs like MC Light and people of that nature, Queen Latifah. You know, so for me, it's, you know, it really does kind of hurt that there's only one type of female that's out right now. You know, and a lot of times the A&Rs would say, well, yeah, we can't put out so many female MCs because, well, you know, they need like what, a stack of people behind them to do their hair, to carry their clothes, do all this stuff, you know, stylists and this and the third. But I just feel like when women like a Lauryn Hill comes out, you know, one young lady that I really love is Dynasty. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of Dynasty, but she kind of reminds me of a young Lauryn Hill right now. But when artists like that come out, it's like, you know, we have to get our young people, you know, like involved, like, you know, so they can really like open their minds up to, you know, different types of music and also positivity. So I think we just have to support those artists.
So you feel like there's a double standard with women in hip hop than there is for men. Like they're expected to do more. Can you speak, why don't you speak more about that, the challenges of women in
Yeah,
the
definitely.
game?
I mean, I think it's expected for women to be more sexual and more sexy, and you know, for the most part, like when you see our male counterparts in this industry, you know, they can put on a T-shirt and a pair of jeans and get on stage, and everybody's going, you know, waving their hands, but you come on stage as a female with a T-shirt and jeans, nobody wants to see that. You know, I think they really are selling sex more now, and like she said, there's no diversity. You know, you can be sexy, of course, you can be sexy. As women, we are sexy. You know, that's just what we are. But for the most part, I think you just have to know how to balance that. You know, and right now, there's no balance. There's just, like she said, it's one dimension at this point.
I'm sorry. No, like, I mean, I agree with it being the fault of the business of music in general, saying that sex sells and this is why I really look like this. But we're also choosing this too. You know what I mean? Because I remember when Nicki Minaj didn't look like that, and she changed herself to be that.
Did she change herself, or was she changed by?
She changed herself. I know that for a fact.
Okay, good. That's good.
Leave that alone. But it also hurts me to hear that. I keep hearing that there's no diversity thing, and I disagree. I go to concerts all the time. There's Invincible, there's Jean Grey. There's so many female artists out there, but what's happening is we're not supporting them. We're waiting for the Nicki Minaj's to come out and drop an album so that we can like support them, as opposed to, because they look familiar, as opposed to the ones who are actually talking about something.
I mean, the thing about Jean Grey and Vince, right, they're all independent artists, I guess. It's like I had a long
Jean Grey was
conversation
independent
with
too.
Jean Grey. No, I'm saying she is independent. Like,
I mean, not Jean Grey, Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj, right. But Jean Grey, my friend and I had this great conversation. Like, we don't feel like that type of artist will ever cross over to the mainstream. Not necessarily because they don't get their support, because I go to her shows and I feel like she does get a lot of support. I just think it goes back to what is expected of us.
In the U.S.
Yes, most definitely.
In the U.S. Because, like, that's another thing that is very interesting to me, is that the artists who hold true to the culture of hip hop do better overseas than they do here, whether they're male or female. You know what I mean? So it's sad that Jean Grey can't book, you know, Madison Square Garden, but she can go out to France real quick and book every nightclub, like for 3 weeks straight.
So then that comes back to the business of hip hop, right? Which is very interesting to me, because it's not like women are not holding any rank within on the business side. I mean, we've had from Sylvia Robinson in the beginning with Sugar Hill Records to Carmen Ashes Watson at Def Jam, and we still have many women now that are holding it down. Sylvia Rhone, Janet Fleischman, there are a lot of people in the business. So what's on the, I'd love for people that are on the business side to talk about some of the challenges you face, like when you're in the boardroom, you have to make decisions about what an album cover is going to look like, what a video is going to look like, what are the girls in the video going to wear, how are they going to come off, how do those decisions break down?
Well, to be honest, when I started at Loud, I was the only girl employee.
The whole company?
In the whole company. There's 5 of us, all men, and all my groups were men. Wow. I had Wu-Tang Clan, Mobb Deep, Cellar Dwellers, Alcoholics. I had all men. So even for me going to work, I wore sweatpants and sneakers because I didn't feel like looking like a girl, because I was on the road with nothing but men.
Did you feel like you would be taken less seriously if you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like that even kind of transcends now. They always look at the girl that's around as whose girlfriend is that, or the groupie, or they never really look at the fact that I might be the one that's calling the shots.
In 2012.
In 2012. So it still happens now, and I don't think that changes in any company that you work at. So I don't even think that's just music. My company, I worked at joint ventures. So Loud, Rockefeller, they were all joint ventures, and creatively speaking, the artists had control. In the beginning, as far as a Mobb Deep and a Wu-Tang, they weren't girl-friendly. They didn't want girls in their video. If you think back at the Method Man video, Protect Your Neck, you didn't see any girls. You didn't see any girls in Mobb Deep. Girls were not good for us. They were taboo, and me as a marketing person, that was my strategy on our second record.
Why were they taboo?
It was just, it was about the mob, it was about the friends and the homies, and so girls were just not allowed. Our first girl video that Ralph shot actually was Ice Cream with Wu-Tang. And I think we had to convince them to do it. And we found some around the way girls in Jamaica Coliseum. Jamaica Coliseum, and that was it. So my groups were not told from the company what to do, make this more sexy. They didn't believe in the sexy look. I literally sat in the studio for 12 hours to convince Mobb Deep to do the record with Little Kim.
Wow.
So, yeah, those things were not done. 12 hours.
That's what I'm like, wait,
6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Wow.
12 hours.
And Little Kim was hot then.
Yeah,
Right.
and that was a hit record and
Right.
everything,
Yeah.
and it was convincing them. I didn't have radio records. Our first radio record was Big Pun. Again, you didn't see, he might have been the first one that had a little bit more women, but it really wasn't there. Rockefeller was the same way. It wasn't really, we didn't believe in sex cells and dictate album covers and you have to do things like that. We really went with the artist concept.
Right.
But then you get into a bigger engine, you know, the distribution companies like a Def Jam or Sony, and they go according to, I mean, I hate to say it, it's whatever the consumer wants. We have a lot more say than you believe it. And now I think it's just the internet makes it a little bit different with the companies. We're losing our companies, we're losing the distribution companies that are putting out the records, and with that you're losing jobs, and so you don't have a full staff marketing team. And when artists get signed to labels these days, they want you to come in with a package and ready. And Nicki Minaj works because she's a package. You know, it's the shock value that she brings or whatever. You know, it might not even really be the music. But the internet brought that about. You know, it's an avenue with a bunch of, where everyone can put out a record. So that may be as good as it may be what's taking the music away also. Because it has too much.
Exactly.
You know?
Claudine, as a producer, what have you seen from your side of it? Being in the studio, doing music production?
Well, when I first started to make beats, I started making them with a gentleman. And people started, you know, coming over the studio and everything. It was like, oh, no, it's a hot beat playing. And it was like, well, who made it? And then my friend would be like, oh, she made it. And like, oh, no, she made it. So I had to literally sit down and just tap out a beat. Like, oh, word, you don't think I can make beats? I can make 4. Sure, you make 4. Then within an hour, you know, I mean, I really don't, what's the word for it? I don't really have any hindrance, making beats or anything. It's all good.
But you're not taken seriously as a female producer? Initially? Anyway.
Initially, no. No,
you always have to prove yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's all good.
Right. On the publishing side, as a writer, we've heard of many incidents from the past, like even Kim Osorio, who was supposed to join us tonight. She had to sue one of the companies you worked with for sexual harassment. There was a Dee Dee Barnes who was assaulted as a journalist while she was interviewing Dr. Dre. So Amy, I would love to hear, like, have you had any, I mean, you worked at The Source, you were the publisher of The Source, the magazine that was known for this. I mean, she went to court, I don't know if many people know about the case, but she went to court, she filed this major claim against the magazine and against the publishers and the owners, and she won. And she won for a lot of money, and it was a big deal, right? And now she's back there, ironically, as the editor-in-chief. But you also, so you came in to try to rebrand and change their image. And so what kind of challenges did you run up against? Did you experience any type of sexual harassment? And then,
you're saying in-house or just in general?
In general. In-house and in general.
In-house, I think I got a lot of respect because, here comes this girl who they think knows nothing about hip-hop, who is as knowledgeable, can fight about it, is on par with them, and is trying to save the company. So I think they gave me a lot more respect, but I feel like I went through the same phase that you did, wearing sweats all the time, wearing my Timbs, because it just made me feel more comfortable, because the entire office, about 80% of the office were just straight guys. In terms of, so I didn't experience sexual harassment in-house, unless I was wearing a dress and everyone wanted to But whenever you're going into the studio to interview an artist at 2 o'clock in the morning and they're drinking and smoking, you know what I mean, and your jeans happen to be tight that day. You might be wearing a hoodie, but you're wearing tight jeans and it comes sometimes. Or you go to a performance and they invite you backstage because you're cute. So you get the exclusive interview, right? But then it's like, no, come with us to the next one.
So have you had to deal with a sister I know in the business, Dream Hampton? She's dealt with rumors all throughout her career that she gets the exclusive, not because she got backstage, but because she had sex with them. Because so do you ever have to do you have to, I'm trying to get to a point of like, do you feel like you always have to validate yourself as a journalist? And then how often are you propositioned? Like, I mean, is this just every day?
Every day, most of the time. Wow. Regardless. Sometimes my girls do. Seriously, so it's like across the...
So is this at the Source or at MTV? This is not just a hip-hop thing, or is it a music industry thing?
No, I think it's a hip-hop thing, honestly, because this is my second time at MTV, and I've never experienced that here. And even when hip-hop walks into the building, they act differently. But at the Source, it's lax. You can do that. I think work at the Source, you use this kind of but you asked me something else.
I was asking you, as a journalist, I said, do you have those challenges? And I said, how do you overcome, like, is the rumors, and how are you able to work and being taken seriously in light of the rumors?
I am lucky that I haven't experienced those rumors. At least I don't think so.
Well, yesterday I heard.
But I will say that I'll share something with you guys that I will share with every one of my female, actually all my interns. Never sleep on a job, period.
Never what?
Never sleep on a job, period. And I made that like my #1 rule. Don't sleep with an artist. The rumors won't be made about you. You know, don't mess with an artist. Don't let them think you will mess with them. Rumors won't be made. So I've been very lucky that I've always, I don't know if it's lucky, but I've been very smart to play, my job first.
Okay, so I'm playing your job first, and I'm playing devil's advocate. Because we're all talking about how we wear sweats and how we have to change who we are, really. The integrity of who we are as women. We are goddesses, queens, sexual beings. So how does that affect you as an individual? And this hip-hop, do you feel like, I'm asking everybody. Because I'm going back, I guess, I'm going to ask my question in 2 parts. Do you feel, one, then, that hip-hop is a man's sport, and that you have to compromise who you are as a woman in order to be a viable player in the sport? And if so, how does that affect you personally?
I used to feel that way as a female MC, just going to the studios, like they just mentioned, wearing the hoodies and wearing the Timbs and wearing the sweats and making them songs that the guys are gonna like, instead of making a song that's gonna empower your, your sisters and empower yourself, you make something that they want to hear, so I definitely played that part. But now, I'm more woman, you take it or leave it, and I'm not gonna downplay myself, and I'm not gonna downplay what I'm about just to, make you feel better, I guess the word is, or make you feel more of a man for the most part. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that now. That's not gonna happen. So if I want to get on stage with a, nice dress or whatever and some tall heels, that's what I'm gonna do. If I want to get on stage with some jeans and a hat, I'm gonna do that too. So it's just now I vibe on how I feel.
And then is the response differently? Do you get further one way or another?
No, I think people have been receiving me very well lately with however I decide to look, because at the end of the day, it's about fashion as well. You gotta look good, so I do my best at looking good all the time. So I think I'm received well. And I've been doing this for a little while now, so I think I'm receiving, I feel I'm receiving the respect that I know I deserve.
Anybody else?
Now working at a record company is totally different. I mean, I don't have to go on the road and go to mom and pop stores and be in clubs that there's no lights and being carried through a crowd. We're warranted when we wearing sweats and Timberlands. You don't really have to do that. A lot of things that we had to do before to even make hip hop what it is today, it doesn't have to be done. You know, we have the media, we have TV, we have radio. Everybody's into it. You know, it's worldly now. So yeah, I can go to work with a skirt and some heels on. So I'm not going in worrying about getting, you know, rampled or something. So it's just different. So I don't have to change that at all. I don't even think I had to change then. I was just being more cautious. Yeah, I don't think I could run through a crowd with a skirt on. So.
Can we go back to the source thing for 1 minute?
Yes.
So back during the time when the whole Kim Rosario thing was happening, I was actually a writer for the source during that time. And one thing I do have to say is that I had to fight like tooth and nail to get like positive articles in there, because Ansel Samuel was my editor at the time, and he pushed for me to get like positive articles about women and also the community. So yeah, he was. Yeah, so it was just hard, but the thing is, you just have to stand to who you are and keep your integrity. And that's what it's about.
All right, let's look ahead. What is some of your ideas around the future of hip hop and women? Where do you see it going? Do you see is Nicki Minaj our end game? And before, you know, let me be upfront, because I'm assuming everybody feels as I do, and I've been startled by the opinions of others regarding Nicki Minaj. So I'm not a big fan of her. But a lot of people are. I wrote a story, I'm a writer, I wrote a story about Nicki Minaj, and I compared her to other rappers, and I talked about sex and sexuality, and I understand like the dialogue around it. I just feel like for me, she just doesn't have any rhymes. Like even, I don't mind rhyming about sex.